This is the Shahbanou of Iran, a modern-day empress of an ancient nation. To her people, she is something like a goddess who is wed to the shadow of God. To many of the outside world, she may seem the beautiful Farah Pahlavi, married to the Emperor of Oil. To the helpless and unfortunate, she is a source of help. To her country, that is in the midst of growing pains, she is a beacon in a storm. For Iran is receiving so much, so fast. Iran is in the midst of an unprecedented stage of industrial development. Industries are being born in record time. And buildings erected at a phenomenal rate. Commercially, the face of Iran is under rapid change. There are deadlines to be met and timetables to be kept. The industrial progress and economic development of Iran during the last decade has been expanding at a record-shattering pace. But there is another kind of development taking place in Iran. Alert to the fact that a nation with so great an economy required an accompanying system of social justice, the Shahbanou began to implement a program of social reforms.
When I got married 15 years ago, of course I knew that I will have responsibilities and that I had to participate in the work for development of my country, that I had to help my husband. But in those days, I really didn't know so much about all the problems of my country. I was a young girl with some ideas, some ideals, but it took me years to, first of all, be aware of the problems, not the problems of the surface, but really the basic problems. And also to find the ways of solving these problems. In those days, the rate of illiteracy in our country was 85%. And whatever we wanted to do, really we reached the point to see that education is the most important thing in this country. When we started to build libraries for children, we had to encourage them in a way to come to the libraries, or to encourage their parents to believe in libraries and reading books. We have started a program for campaign against illiteracy since 13 years ago. Now the rate of illiterate people are between 50 and 60%. We are not happy about that yet, but it has again many social difficulties because of lack of education. Because we have to explain to, not to children, but to grown-ups, why should you become literate? They don't even understand that in the beginning. And in some places, they don't want even to send their children to school because for social reasons, maybe they want their children to participate in the work and to help materially the family. Especially many years ago, some of the village people didn't want to send their girls into school because they were men teachers. But fortunately, I must say that with the program we've started, we have solved many of these problems. At the level of fighting against illiteracy, we have built many thousands of schools in the rural areas with a group of young, dedicated boys and girls who are serving as teachers in these areas. Instead of serving into military service, they serve few months for military service, and the rest of their service extended as teachers in the rural areas. And they teach under a tree, under a tent, anywhere, and they built with the help of the villagers schools. The number of our children going to kindergartens, to primary schools, secondary schools, university students, technical schools has raised tremendously since 15 years ago. And we are every year building new schools and new universities. And the most important thing of all is that what we hope for our country is to have a social justice, for everybody to have an equitable share of the wealth of this country. And if they are uneducated, they could never participate in that, to use the really wealth of the country.
25 years ago, very few women were able to give birth at a hospital. Reasons? Their parents didn't. And there weren't that many facilities anyway. But today, after years of concentrated effort, the Shahbanou has succeeded in erasing many of the old wives' tales that have been handed down from generation to generation regarding childbirth. Most Iranian women currently deliver their children in hospitals without the unnecessary discomfort associated with childbirth. This hospital is just one of the many institutions specializing in obstetrics and gynecology, which serve over 500,000 women annually. And there are many more such hospitals underway. It takes years of work and lots of money to build hospitals. It also takes a type of dedication that time cannot measure and money cannot buy, even when one is reputed to possess a wealth of such staggering magnitude.
We do not have that much money. Of course, I cannot say that we are poor, but this money which we have out of our oil revenue, it's only since few years that we can use our complete oil revenue for the development of our country. And with this money, the government is subsidizing a lot of food for this country, the important things like food, like bread, like cereals, like rice, like sugar, like public transport. And for these 75% of our agricultural, to cultivate their land, they need water. Sometimes when we say we do not have enough water, people say you have oil. But with oil, you cannot grow wheat or trees. We have to reforest this land, which once had 16 million hectares of forest. Today we have only 5 million, and we are reforesting the country. We are reforesting around our desert to stop the moving sand to come and destroy the agricultural land and some of the villages. And with the money we have had, for a short period, we have helped many of the third world countries, which were underdeveloped and not oil-producing countries. First of all, we didn't want them to really suffer very much for that. And at the same time, we couldn't spend all the money inside the country because of inflation. And but oil will be finished in a period of 25 years or 30 years. So we have to find other sources of revenues. We have to rely on our industry and our agriculture. We cannot only depend on buying food from outside, but must at least provide our own food for the country. And the most important thing of all is we have to have a human wealth. Half of our population today is below 20 years of age. Now we are spending money on them. And in the future, we hope that they will be the ones who will be our wealth. But we have to educate in them the spirit, the sense of participation, so that they all participate in rebuilding this country. We have suffered a lot all these years, materially and morally. And really our people deserve to have some kind of decent standard of living. They have shown me so much affection all these years, which really, this is the only thing that encourages me. And this is, I can say, my only satisfaction in my work. Because in my position, I have power. Materially, I'm comfortable. So there is no other ambition for me than to be able to help my people and to see in their eyes that they feel it and they're happy.
There are 32 million people living in Iran today. In this village, there are only 800, and 150 of these people have been the unfortunate victims of leprosy. This village near Borjnud in northeastern Iran was made into a cooperative society by Her Majesty a decade ago for the rehabilitation of people who formerly had leprosy. Empress Farah inspired the villagers to become a cooperative. Fruit orchards were created to replace what was once parched wasteland.
گلابی هست، به هست، زردآلو هست، آلبالو هست، گیلاس هست، در همین میوه هست. مادر بابا کمک برای چی حقوق کمه؟ قرض داره. ما امسال درآمد ما چیزی نشده مادر جون. ما مردم قرض داره 15.
Getting in touch with an empress can be extremely difficult, but always willing to listen and discuss local and personal problems, the Shahbanou freely mingles with the people, for it is common to register a complaint or suggestion either by word or sometimes through the practical method of note passing. And it is Her Majesty's practice to see to it that all requests receive answers. A carpet weaving cooperative is another of the efforts encouraged by the Shahbanou in order to allow the villagers to become economically self-sufficient, because it is her belief that anyone's existence should be justified by the realization of their productive functions. A hospital and dermatological center has been established by Her Majesty to further investigate the causes of this dreaded disease. For Empress Farah will never accept the idea of a physical defect as a reason for social isolation. And for anyone who wishes, restorative plastic surgery is performed at no cost. As education is the primary must for all Iranians, schools have been provided for children whose parents or parents have been infected. Each family has been given a house of its own so that family unity may be maintained during the rehabilitatory years. In broadening the scope of Iran's cultural horizons, Empress Farah travels extensively, a recipient of numerous honors and degrees, and an honorary trustee of the famed Aspen Institute for Humanistic Studies. She has invited its members to participate in a symposium held in the ancient city of Persepolis.
And if we are to visualize the great civilization that Iran is striving for under the leadership of His Imperial Majesty the Shah, then it is imperative that we immerse ourselves in the milieu which symbolizes the greatness of the past and reveals to us the animating light which has guided this country through the ages.
Each morn 1,000 roses brings, you say. Yes, but where leaves the rose of yesterday?
Many of the roses of yesterday have gone and unfortunately will not come back. But many of those roses are back, and I hope that they will come back. But the most important thing of all is that many of those roses are here and were here, but unfortunately forgotten for a while. After the war in our country, with the rapid industrial progress of Western countries, everything which came to us, to our country and to many countries in our position, was better than what we had. So we sold many of our art for nothing. Some of them were given away, and some of them were taken away. But Iran is an old country of old tradition and culture, and we are also progressing rapidly now and getting industrialized. Today is really the moment that we find our self-identity. We do not want to make material progress with losing our philosophy of life and our spirit. In our country, especially in the rural areas, our peasants, even if they are illiterate, they are not uncivilized. Each of them can recite poetry. They live in a surrounding of objects of art, the usual objects for living. And I believe in the marriage of art and living. So I think that the spirit is still there. The love for art is still there. But it must be rediscovered. It must come back to life again. It must flourish again. We are in a period of industrialization. We are in a period of computer. We have to keep the spirit. But I think that our artist has never died, and the love for art is still in the heart of our people, and the poetry is still there. So I hope and I believe that we will have many more rose gardens, and that this country again not only will make alive its own culture, but also bring a new culture like it has done before, not for ourselves only, but I hope for the rest of the world.
As it is with art and culture, so it is with family unity, where there exists a cohesiveness of family structure that has held the fiber of Iranian society together for 2,500 years. This unifying force is as present with the wealthy as it is with the middle class, as it is with the lower. For the family is the nucleus of Iranian society, no matter who they are or what they may be.
اینجوری نیست لیلا نه میگه نکن لیلا ولی خوب بازی کنم همین چشم روز باز نمیشه خوب کردی تا که بعد اینو بخوریم بزنیم باد داره
After years of unalterable dedication to the cause of social justice and equality for all her people, the Shahbanou of Iran has most certainly achieved concrete results.
Concrete results, yes, we have had many concrete results. And I hope that for the future, we will be able to give enough, not only materially, but morally. I personally hope that I will have the energy to give as much as I can, my love and my care for this country and for these people.